I'm here today with Alex Ghuberman, creator and host of the EForElectric YouTube channel. Alex, tell us about your journey and your entry into the electric car community and also the Tesla community.
Well, so I was shopping for a car, 2012, beginning of 2012, and I just didn't see anything that I liked. There was no technological advances. All cars look kind of the same for the last 10 years. And someone's kid told me, like, you should go and check out Tesla. And I'm like, dude, I don't need advices from a 10-year-old, whatever. I'm not buying an electric car from some manufacturer. Are you insane? So, I kind of forgot about it, but then I was walking at Santana Row where one of the first Tesla showrooms were, and I was like, hey, that Tesla thing, let me go and check it out. Yeah, I have like 5 minutes to kill, sure. And I walk in, and instead of a Roadster, I saw the prototype of the Model S. And I got in there, and they already had everything kind of working, and I think the prototype was almost there as far as the body shape. And I thought, oh my God, this is what a car should be. So without thinking, I put my $5,000 deposit, and I started waiting. Then I got my car, and all this time, and even once I got my car, everybody around me, my family, friends, coworkers, everybody thought I was basically an idiot because I just bought an expensive car from an unknown manufacturer. When was the last time do you know that the car manufacturer ever made it? Like the legacy manufacturers were struggling. On top of that, it's electric. So I figured, you know what? Let me go and look for other idiots like myself, and I created a Facebook group to see, who's gonna show up. And little by little, people started to show up, and more and more, and it actually got a little popular, right? And more popular after that. And the Facebook group, grew to 5, 10, 15,000 followers, members.
And if you're on Facebook, you're actually probably a member of Alex's Facebook group. He runs the Tesla Model S owners group. I think there's like 70,000 members or something crazy, 38,000, 40,000.
I think we're at like 30 right now. Yeah. So and then I also have a Model 3 group as well. And at that time, I was like, I'd like to maybe deliver some information to this group because even I fell kind of behind on what kind of exciting news is going on with Tesla. And that's why I created my YouTube channel. At that time, it was called Everything Tesla because there was really no other electric cars out there besides Leaf. I started delivering the news. I think it was like 60 seconds per week, really. And from then on, I guess there were many people who wanted the information. And at some point, I realized that there are many other electric cars out there coming out, and I wanted to expand into bigger. And that's why I renamed my channel to EForElectric, and that's where it is right now. And we're just about to hit 30,000 subscribers, and I do this full time now, which is insane.
Congratulations, by the way, on about to hit that 30,000 milestone. That's a huge achievement, and it's really fantastic to see that there's so many people into electric cars. That 30,000 subscribers for a news show about electric cars is huge.
Especially the one that almost nobody agrees with. There's always a video that I would produce that even my most loyal fans would disagree with. But I guess the whole point is not so much to be liked on my channel, but to bring the information, whether you like it or not. It is an information and news, and also make you think about it. You don't have to agree with me, as long as you kind of on the same page as far as like the same community, and that we need to move forward towards electrification, away from gas and fossil fuels. I'm good.
So before we jump into more about your channel and your kind of place in the community, tell us about what your first experience was like driving that Model S. The first time you got behind the wheel, the first time you got to put down the pedal. Tell us about what that was like.
I remember it like it was yesterday, seriously, and I have a horrible memory, as you know. I mean, at first, how quiet. Like I've never experienced something this quiet. That was absolutely amazing. Secondly, having this humongous screen to be right in front of you, and I remember, and of course the fact that it's almost one pedal driving. You didn't really have to use the brake pedal. So those three, I remember going like, oh my God, I can't believe I own this thing and I'm driving this, and what an amazing experience. Everything that I ever wanted from the car is right here, and I'm driving it. So and I kept that feeling for a very long time. And sometimes even now I go like, I would roll down the windows when I'm going relatively slow and enjoy how silent my car is.
It's really a completely different experience. For those of you who haven't driven an electric car or been in a Tesla yet, it really is the future of cars. So, Alex, you actually saw what was coming very early to be at, back when it was in the prototype phase, just in a showroom in Santana Row. I think they probably only had a handful of showrooms back then. So, way to see the future before the rest of us. You saw it years before I did. Changed, or do you want to add something?
Yeah, because it's funny how like I saw the future back then, and now that I'm talking about some other things that are coming up, but people saying, "Well, Alex, you don't know. What do you know about future, right?" And there are a lot of other things outside of Tesla that are going on. They are exciting, and then Tesla may not necessarily be chasing those, but at the same time, there is a bigger future. Obviously, Tesla pushed everybody into them, but I'm excited for the entire electric car movement.
And really, what we're seeing the beginning of is the movement of the eventual completion of this movement will be the entire auto industry having moved from combustion cars to electric vehicles. At some point in the future, it's going to be all electric vehicles. By what year do you think every new vehicle produced is going to be electric?
Well, it depends where, right? I mean, we have kind of four markets, right? There's North American, there's European, there's China, which is actually leading the pack now. People don't want to make peace with it, but it's happening. And then the rest of the world, right? In Africa, India, in Brazil, it's going to be a while, right? But as far as, I would say China and Europe probably are closer than anybody else to pretty much abolishing new non-electric car sales. But I think it's going to be a while. I would give it 2030. Give it another at least 10 years. By then, and by the way, electrification is a funny word, right? Because a lot of these legacy manufacturers use it as identifying the cars that are electric powertrains. So essentially, they could be plug-in hybrids with 5 miles of electric range, right? So if you ask me as far as, by 2030, I would say for sure electrified. All electric only. That could take a little bit longer because we still have big trucks that people, and vans and buses and semi trucks that people. The revolution in technology is a little bit slower. Obviously, there's other transportation like planes and boats, and that will be slower as well. But and there are sports cars. Those will probably be gas for a while as well. But I'd say 2040, I would give it another decade until like in Europe, China, and the US, we just cannot buy a gas car from like brand new gas car. That would be my guess.
You brought up something interesting, and you kind of brushed on how the legacy automakers are using this electrification term to try and make it look like that these plug-in hybrids with 5-mile ranges are them trying to like do something good for the world and do something good for the environment. So my question for you is, and I know that your feelings on this have evolved, what are your thoughts on hybrid cars, in 2020, in 2030? What are your feelings about hybrid cars, and what are your feelings and thoughts about the motivations of the manufacturers of them?
So when we're talking about hybrid cars, let's talk about plug-in hybrids, right? Where you can actually plug it in the first few miles or so, it's all electric. I myself just bought a Volt, and by the way, I was all electric guy before that. If it's not all electric, it's not happening. I actually scaled back a little bit because I'm now considering, because I've learned, not everybody, I probably took me longer than it should have. Not everybody can afford $100,000 or $60,000 or $50,000 car. And not everybody wants to trust a $100,000 car to be all electric. So it has to be intermediate step. I call it a gateway drug, if you will. Plug-in hybrids is where people can taste the technology, and I bought myself a Volt as well. I love driving my Volt. It actually drives smoother and quieter than my Tesla. Granted, there are 3 years difference there. My Volt is newer. Let them enjoy this technology, but at the same time, they always have the good old gas engine that they can trust on the back there. And let them be introduced to the technology first, and the range anxiety, which is probably the biggest hurdle to overcome, let it fade away with their next car or maybe the car after that. So as long as it's a true, real plug-in hybrid, not like a Prius, a Prime, where it's like 15 miles, or BMW i8, where it's like 15 miles as well, when they're really trying to make the next step forward, I'm all for it. Now, let me give maybe another example. So, for example, Kia Niro plug-in hybrid. I test drove it. I posted the video on my channel, and I just didn't like it. I thought the technologies were fighting. I thought there was no pure electric range. The engine was kicking in whenever it was struggling, getting more energy, and I just didn't like it. But now, literally just the other day, I test drove the Kia Niro pure electric, all electric, which was obviously the next generation of Niro EV, and I loved it, right? So the question is, if it takes them 2 or 3 years to produce the plug-in hybrids that are not great, to get to all electric, really good all electric car, and this one's pretty affordable, around 30 grand after incentives, then I'm okay with that as well. There's one saying that I really, really liked. It comes from a politician, so I don't want to name him, but I really like it independent on that. Better is good. Better is good. If we can do better tomorrow, even if it's a plug-in hybrid with a few miles, it's still better than the gas car. And let's not fight and within our community against the very people that we should welcome, who are helping us little by little move us forward, even though we think they should be more aggressive with it. Everybody is part of this community. Let's all together move away from the gasoline, and then plug-in hybrids, I think, is a way to go for a lot of people. And of course, they're more affordable than all electric cars at this point.
One final question for you, Alex. You've put out some videos from time to time that generate a lot of controversy and negative reaction, fairly or unfairly. Why do you think that is? Why do you think some of the things you put out there and some of the things you're commenting on generate such a reaction that they do?
Well, a couple of things. I think in general, especially I think here in the U.S., people are less tolerant of different opinions. And I think whenever, because I cover so many news, some of this news is not what people like to see or hear. So even though I would be just like reading a press release, if they don't like it, they will unsubscribe and be unhappy with me, even though I'm a messenger. So the intolerance for opinions have really grown. But I think the most controversy that I cause and where people unsubscribe from my channel and unhappy with me is when I criticize Tesla and Elon Musk. And I think the reason for that is that Tesla created this community that's unlike any other. People really bought into this. People love Elon Musk. They love Tesla, and they're really behind this, just like Steve Jobs and Apple. And I understand it. I used to be that way as well. So whenever I call out something that Elon said or did, or what Tesla is doing, like for example with customer service, and it goes against people's passionate belief in the brand, they don't like it. And some maybe don't realize that my channel is not so much about what I think. My job, I believe, is to deliver the information, whatever the news are, give my opinion, which I think at this point is pretty educated. I consider myself an electric, industry insider. But you don't have to agree with me if you're on the other side of the camera. You can, say, oh, well, this is happening. I have a different opinion based on this, or I don't like this news, but it is what it is. If that happens, if I deliver information and cause some sort of a thinking process, I am happy. Unfortunately, not everybody reacts that way, and it will probably continue. But I'm okay with that. I think the fact that sometimes I get called a Tesla hater and Tesla fanboy in the comment section in one video means that I'm doing my job, being unbiased and bringing the stories in for all electric car community from all different angles.
Well, thank you, Alex, for your time and for the interview, and it's an honor to share the Tesla community with you.
Absolutely, same here, man.